Our story starts in Switzerland in the heart of Zurich. Two affluent families, the Mullers and the Carlucci clans, reigned over the chocolate industry. Their rivalry ran as deep as the cocoa they harvested, a feud dating back generations. But it wasn't always this way. In fact, in the 1920s, the two families were joined in business together. That was until an argument over their chocolate recipe split the business in two and started a decades-long feud. A feud that spilled out into fights in the streets between factory workers, ending with each family forbidding any interaction with their sworn enemies from that day forth. This rivalry carried over into every generation. In the 1960s, the two heads of the families decided to go head-to-head in a local car race, a race where their competitiveness got the better of them. Just before the finish line, with each of them going neck and neck, making dangerous decisions, they crashed into each other, killing themselves in the process. Now, Romeo Muller and Julian Carlucci were the latest generation of Mullers and Carlucci sons who had been brought up to hate each other and had found themselves entangled in this bitter feud from birth. Both their fathers had carried on the tradition of hating the other ever since their fathers had died in a car crash. The feud was made worse by the fact that both families' chocolate businesses were always going head to head in sales worldwide. Despite the family's hate for each other, fate seemed to conspire against the young boys, as they were not only sent to the same prestigious school in Zurich, they had been placed in the same class, something that had never happened before. Romeo and Julian were a constant distraction for their classmates, as they spent most days arguing and fighting. As they grew older, so did their talents, particularly in the realm of football, where they both showcased exceptional skills as central midfielders. However, their prowess on the pitch was marred by their family's indoctrination. Taught to despise one another, Romeo and Julian's clashes were as frequent as they were fierce. Their inability to cooperate hindered not only their individual growth, also their team's success, angering their coach and teammates alike. The situation reached a boiling point when a weekend hiking trip turned disastrous. The school had organised a camping trip into the Swiss Alps, and after a long day's hiking, the boys had found themselves once again arguing and fighting, and they'd lost track of the rest of the group. Romeo and Julian found themselves abandoned in the wilderness, lost and alone. Forced to rely on each other for survival, they realised to survive they would have to stick together. So they set up camp in a cave for the night, and as the sun set and the night took over, the barriers erected by their families began to crumble. As they weathered the night together, they discovered shared dreams and aspirations, realising that their rivalry was manufactured by their family's feud, and that they had so much more in common than they'd ever realised. The next day, a search party was sent out looking for the boys, and to everyone's surprise, when they were found, Romeo and Julian were getting along like a house on fire. Despite objections from their fathers and families, they stood united, vowing to pursue their passion for football together and to fulfill their potential as a team on the pitch. Their journey took them to the zenith of Swiss football, where they led their school team to national glory, alerting the attention of scouts from clubs all across the country. However, their paths almost diverged again when professional opportunities beckoned. The allure of the prestigious Grasshoppers tempted Romeo, as his family had always been hardcore Grasshopper fans, while Julian and the Carluccis had obviously always supported their rivals FC Zurich. Romeo had always shown he had a little bit more talent and promise than Julian. In a momentous decision, Romeo chose friendship over fame, aligning his destiny with Julian's and defying his father's wishes. He chose to sign with FC Zurich and stick with his friend Julian, a decision that angered their families, but a decision the boys knew was right. It was time for this silly feud to end once and for all, and they were going to do it. Their partnership transcended the football pitch, symbolising the triumph of camaraderie over conflict. As they set their sights on international glory with the Swiss national team, Romeo and Julian vowed to break the cycle of hatred perpetuated by their families, and vowed to not only help FC Zurich to the top, but to hopefully help their nation's footballing dreams too. Their story became a beacon of hope, a testament to the power of unity in the face of adversity, and though their future remained uncertain, one thing was undeniable: Romeo and Julian's legacy would endure, etched into the annals of Swiss football history as a tale of friendship conquering all. So will Romeo and Julian stick together and conquer Swiss football? Will their roads stay intertwined for their whole careers? Well, we will find out in the story of Romeo and Julian. Hello, I'm Bood and welcome to Romeo and Julian. As always, thanks for joining me. It's massively appreciated. Helps support me, the channel, the episode and the series of stories by smashing that thumbs up, getting involved in the comments, subscribe if you're new and hit that bell and you will never miss anything I do. Now, come on, be honest with me. Who thought this was going to be a gay love story? Eh? I contemplated it, but no. Maybe. We don't know what they got up to all night in that cave, eh? Maybe that's why they got that strong bond. You know what I mean? But this is more of a story about never judging a book by its cover. I've been guilty of that myself, things I was taught as a kid, and then certain people I've met in my life and realised, actually, you're cool. I've just been brainwashed by certain things I was taught in my youth. Even one of my oldest friends, Steve Smith, we've been good friends for about 26 years, a couple of years older than me. He disliked me massively because of things he'd heard of someone else. Never met me, never talked to me really, and just despised me to the point where I was walking over the field behind my mum's one evening after a night out in the dark, and he was up there with his other mate and an air rifle, messing around, saw me and thought, I hate David Graham. Tried to shoot me in the ass and shot me in the hand. It went through my knuckle, right up through my finger. I had to have it cut out. Right? He felt guilty. We got talking in the pub. I forgave him. We realised, actually, we're really good friends. We get on, we have a laugh. So you know what I mean? It's more of a story about that. You know what I mean? Friendship. Anyway, enough of that. Welcome to Switzerland, and welcome to the story of Romeo and Julian. And here we are with FC Zurich, who at the start of the game apparently don't have a manager. But we just want to follow these two boys now. Will their paths stay together? That friendship bond. Will they? Can they help Zurich? Can they help Switzerland? Where's their careers gonna go? Let's start by looking at Romeo Muller. Romeo Muller is a wonder kid. He has a maximum potential of 195. He is the better player, and originally was a Grasshoppers fan. In fact, he could have signed for Grasshoppers, who, according to the game, are a little bit better than FC Zurich. But he chose not to. He chose to stick with his friend and sign for Zurich and build that bond. Both families are fuming. They don't care anymore. They're friends. But he is the better player. He's a central midfielder, an attacking midfielder, a very good player. You know, could he win Switzerland a World Cup? I'll find out. Here is his friend, Julian Carlucci, and it does say he's a wonder kid, but his maximum potential is only 180, 15 less than his friend. So he's not as good, but he could still be a very good player. Could be. He's more of a defensive midfielder. They're like the Roy Keane and Paul Scholes of Switzerland. You know what I mean? Can play on both sides. One's more defensive, one's attacking. They complement each other. And that's how they won the Swiss School National Football Championship. Now we'll go on to Julian Carlucci's information because of exactly the same. They can speak German, English, Italian and French, Switzerland's many languages. There's actually another language in Switzerland, which I think is dying out, but there is a small area where they speak a different language. It's like Romana or something it was called. I've forgotten. I should have Googled it. But it's not on the game. I would have put it on. But yeah, Football Manager, sort your stuff out. You ain't got all the languages. Now, I've done the usual with long-term plans. Obviously, they want to play for Zurich. They don't want to go to City and Paris and a few of the other teams because that happens when you have good players. And I've said this in other videos. I like them going down different paths, not going to the usual PSGs. You know what I mean. Now, agent-wise, I didn't give them an agent, but they do have agents. Both got different agents, which could be different for them. But I was just interested, as always, to see could they help Switzerland and will they stay together? Will their paths just split? They come back together. Now, Young Boys are the current champions. And look at Grasshoppers down there. I thought Grasshoppers were better. I thought they were. Doesn't matter. Zurich definitely had an improvement, having Carlucci and Muller in the team, haven't they? I'm hoping to stay here for a while. I'll try to make them loyal again, give a good few years to Zurich and then go on. And I'm excited to see where they're going to. I'm excited to see if they can improve Switzerland. Now, they've got to tournaments. I got the shirt from my good friend CP. Some of you have seen him in content of mine, who is Swiss. He sent me this during the Winter World Cup. So, they've been to majors. Kind of just kick on that little bit more, having an engine room that could be world class. I mean, they've got some top players, haven't they? Players at City, Bayer, Inter, Dortmund, and now the youngsters. So we're going to jump forward 2 years, starting with Romeo Muller, who, as you can see, has made his move to Inter Milan. Yeah, here he is. Great player. He's an elite attacking midfielder. He stayed pretty loyal to Zurich with his friend. They've not just left straight away. They've given it a couple of years. But he's made that big move to Italy, which I think is really cool. He's got 16 caps now and 2 goals. And you might have noticed as well that Romeo is right-footed and Julian's left-footed. They've got that real balance. Perfect midfield, really. He has kicked on a little bit as well. Nice big contract. Not that he needs the money. His father owns a super mega chocolate business, but he's cut ties with them. Maybe they need the money now. Families have gone, no, if you two are going to speak, you're dead to us. Romeo did give 2 seasons to Zurich, which is pretty cool. Played quite a lot more in his second seasons good average ratings, and it's only cost 12.25 million. That is an absolute bargain for a player like him. And we'll look at Romeo's history of competitions, and I was quite gutted, to be fair, because he didn't win anything with Zurich. Hoping to get a league or a cup in them 2 years, but nothing. They won nothing with Zurich, which is disappointing. But you can see he's made his debut and scored for Switzerland, and he's already won a trophy with Inter. Come straight into the team and won a trophy. And what I thought was cool was this: they both moved in the same summer. Now Julian Carlucci is not as good, but he's still classed as a wonderkid. He's 20. He's not turned 21 yet. He will do soonish. He is a good player, to be fair, and looks like he played more for Zurich. But I like it because the paths have kind of stayed together. They've left in the same summer and they've both gone to Italy. Now, technically, Julian took a little bit longer. He's actually dipped his toe into the third season with Zurich and played one game, a fantastic game. To that man at match, what a way to say goodbye before he made his move to Napoli for 46 million. The other player's better. Romeo is better than Julian. What a bargain. Inter Milan have got themselves. So yeah, Napoli have forked out a ton of cash for him. As you can see, again, they won nothing with Zurich, but he also has his first cap and he scored a goal as well for Switzerland. So let's take a look at this. Obviously, there's been 2 seasons in game. Napoli retained the title in game, which you haven't done in real life. But Atalanta are the current champions. Look at that. Look at the boys change the fortunes of Inter, who haven't won the title for a few years. Or Napoli, can they come back to the top? Now jump forward again, and it's the 1st of August 2029, and we're here with Romeo Muller, who is still at Inter. Played a ton of games, he's elite, he is a top player on £500,000 a week, which is brilliant. Starman, absolutely love it. As he helps Inter, well, we're going to look at a few things first. Just starting with his career stats, look at that. He's a boss player in here, he is a boss player. And since coming to Inter, he's done bits. Now, they were runners-up in the Super Cup twice. He has won the Serie A 2 times and the Italian Super Cup twice. So he's winning trophies with Inter. Now, last time we looked, his good friend Julian Carlucci was at Napoli. But he makes a move. This summer, he has made a move. And in a way, it was good. But I was hoping he got a winner. I was hoping they'd end up back together, playing together, where they should be together. But old rivalries could resurface. Because, yeah, absolutely buzzing with this. In a way, Julian Carlucci moved from Napoli to AC Milan. He's now also on £500,000 a week. He's, again, a good player, an elite midfielder. But when I started, I wondered why, because Napoli were top. Because in the league, they have gone down and down and down and down. And I've just noticed the game updated and some names get wiped. Thomas Tuchel's called Matthias Dahm. That irritates me. I can't be asked. When it gets to this time of year and they keep doing these updates and you keep having to change everything, I get irritated with it. I might sort it out at some point. But anyway, they've crashed down in the league, so they've not been that good. But you might notice in the Champions League because they have just won the Europa League. Quickly look at his career stats. So yeah, he's made a move after some great seasons. It's not his fault Napoli have crashed down the league. It's Napoli for not putting a team around him. But he's made an £80 million move. The lesser player has got total moves of 132 million. Don't know why that fascinates me, but it does. And as we can see, he did win things with Napoli. He won the Italian Cup. They were the runners-up in the Italian Cup last year, but they did win the Europa League. So Napoli going into the Champions League, just not with Julian. And when it comes to the league, this is why it could get interesting here, because Inter have won it twice after Atalanta, as we know, with Muller in the team. Then Juve have got one back, they've come back. But AC Milan are the champions, so basically that's what he's done. He's left Napoli and joined the champions for 80 million. Can he keep him at the top? What about Switzerland? Let's jump in now. The lads are really peaking. They're a really good age, really good players. And Switzerland are 13th in the world. In the Euros in 2024, they got to the second round, getting knocked out by Turkey. And again in 2028, they got knocked out by France. Now, I remember looking at these tournaments. I can't remember which one it was, but there was one tournament where one of them was injured and didn't go. And you just always wonder, like, if they're both together, could they have kicked on? But in the Euros, not getting past the second round. In the World Cup, they got to the round of 16, getting knocked out by France, unfortunately. I mean, it'd be nice if they could win summit. I mean, the boys did it in my first story this year with Finland, and that was just a front three. Helped Finland win the Euros, so can this little engine room do something in the future? We've now moved all the way to 2035. The boys are turning 30, and Romeo Muller is still at Inter. Trying to make him loyal. And usually now I'm finding out with these things, as these guys get older, they always have stints, don't they, in Saudi Arabia. So we'll have to wait and see what these lads do. But in the minute at 30, he's becoming an Inter legend. And he's on the legends list. And Mikel Arteta is still the manager. I mean, look at that. For 12.25 million, he has been an absolute bargain buy. Assistant, top player who has won a million trophies. Look at that. The league after league after league. It looks like they're dominating the league, which is good. Champions League runner-up. I mean, we'll have a quick look at the bios at the end so you can see everything. What have Inter been dominating Serie A? Well, it looks that way, doesn't it? So AC Milan have managed a couple, which is good. And then Inter have won the last four and AC Milan second. Ouch. I mean, Jurgen Klopp, he's a great manager. Struggling, isn't he, to win that league? Did he win one? And that's it. Anyway, here's Julian. You might know he's actually the captain of AC Milan. And he's still here. 125 caps for his country. Wow. So he's becoming a bit of a ledge at Milan. So yeah, they've been there ages now, haven't they? They would have been going toe-to-toe, all them derbies. Any good clashes, like in cup finals, Italian cup finals. So Julian left Napoli and joined Milan the year Inter won the cup. So with that he went to sign then. He signed after that cup final. He was in that cup final. Inter beat Juve there. AC Milan versus Napoli, so he would have beat his previous team. Then we've got Juve, Milan, Atlanta. So Milan have done very well in the cups. But they've never had a head-to-head there. But they have had head-to-heads in the Super Cup because Inter have been winning leagues. They've seemed to have won quite a few cups. And looks like Romeo Muller got one over on his friend in the last one. Previous year, it was the other way around. What's disappointing is, you might remember they got knocked out in that World Cup, and then they haven't been back to a World Cup. And in 2028, they got knocked out of the second round in the Euros again. It happened to them in 2032. I think that's the boys' international careers done. They're not retired yet, but I can't see them doing anything majorly for Switzerland, which is disappointing. Kind of want them to, but you never know what's going to happen with these things. Just simulate it and see. It's now 2041, and this is Switzerland's all-time best 11. And of course, the boys are there. So we've got Muller on 83 caps. Carlucci got well more caps. But, that's pretty cool. Now, this is their last year. Now, these lads wanted to do everything together, and they kind of have. They started at Zurich. They left at the same time. They both went to Italy. Not real rivals, but then ended up playing against rivals. Did they stay there for this last year? Well, Romeo Muller does. And I like that. No Saudi Arabia. This is his last season. He was never even wanted by someone. Sometimes it'll pop up, won't it? Wanted by Al Halibal or whatever they're called. They all sound the same to me in Saudi Arabia. Nothing. He is super loyal. No nonsense. I'm not having it. Look at that. Still there at 36 years old. And he do something special in his last season. And the same for Julian. Now, Julian wasn't as loyal. Obviously, he went to Napoli, who I reckon if they'd have been great, he might have stayed. He left a team that was on the slide, really, and joined the champions at the time and stayed at Milan that whole time. So, they'd lived in the same city for a very long time. Best mates, possible lovers. You never know. Each to their own. You be you. They can be them. Free freaking world. There's been rumours. Neither of them ever got married. Not public knowledge yet. Maybe they'll come out when they retire. But yeah, both going into their last seasons, both staying at the Milan clubs. I wonder who won the most. Well, here we are one season later, and Romeo Muller has just hanged up his boots. He wants to be a manager. I did get, again, I went on a few years, but nothing really happens. Nothing worth looking at. It's about the careers, their playing careers. And this is Julian, who again retired at the same time. I find that mint that they've stayed together in a way. The entire thing's been together because, again, you can do this and you create brothers or whatever. And even with my first story this year, the three brothers, there was one retired, then 2 years later another one retired, then about 3 years later another one retired. They've done everything together. They moved to Italy together. They stayed in Italy together. They're living in the same city together, and they retired together. Thing is, though, Inter Milan, and Romeo Muller absolutely dominated Serie A. Look at that, AC Milan. Wow. Wow. Arteta left. They had Pep Guardiola at one point. The guy who's the manager at the minute, I have no idea who he is. But wow. I mean, AC Milan were just runners up galore, apart from that one season where I don't know where they went. Not in the top three anyway. Juve and Lazio got there. So that hurts a little bit, I suppose, when they're having a little bit of banter. In the Italian Cup, though, you'd definitely say AC Milan did better. I'm looking at it all together. But if we think about when Julian Carlucci came in, he won what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yeah, maybe he had the heads up there. Wow, and AC Milan beat Inter a couple of years ago. So I'd like to say I've made a graph this time, but I'm so busy at the minute. There's so much going on. I like making little graphs. It's dead easy for you to see, so we can compare. But we'll just look at the bios. Starting with Julian Carlucci, who of course played for Zurich, Napoli, and AC Milan. So Italian Serie A once, Europa League with Napoli, Italian Cup with Napoli. With AC Milan, he won it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Super Cup 1, 2, 3, 4. So he did win a European title with Napoli, and it was the Europa League. What about Romeo Muller though? He was the better player. He only moved for 12.7 million and stayed at Inter for his entire career, which is absolutely insane. But he's won 29 competitions. He won the Serie A 14 times. Wow. Champions League twice. Super Cup a few times. Italian Cup, 4 times. Super Cup 7 times. Wow. He got a couple of Champions League. So I think when it comes to trophies, Romeo definitely did better. But I just love how the career's mirrored, because it's kind of what I wanted. You don't know, do you? Weird, really, but cool. Of course, it's World Player of the Year because they haven't updated it again. Can't be bothered. Ballon d'Or. You might have noticed in the bio, but Mr. Muller got himself a couple. He won a couple. Unfortunately, Julian didn't. That's cool. We can share one. I'm sure they'll share one with each other. And Switzerland's rankings of dips again with the boys retiring. Look who they've got as a manager. Nesta. What a player. If you're young, wow, what a player he was. Back in centre half. But anyway, there we go. As always, thanks for watching. It's massively appreciated. These are just a little bit of fun, but I appreciate you more than anything. But if you feel kind and generous, hit that thumbs up, get involved in the comments, subscribe if you're new, and hit the bell, and you will never miss anything I do. The next video, I promise you, is mine and Greeno's collaboration. It's Greeno's baby, it's Greeno's brainchild. It's a very different way of telling a story. Like I said, I am just an editor and I'm taking part in it. But I'm going to be getting to work on that today, really. So I'm excited to see how it comes together. I've no idea how long it's going to be, but hopefully you'll tune in for that. So keep your eyes out. It could be good, it could be crap. It's brand new. But anyway, you stay happy. You stay safe. Remember, don't judge a book by its cover. Get to know someone first. Do you know what I mean? That's the moral of the story. Anyway, I love you long time. I'm Food. Bye-bye.